All Elite Wrestling, AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery exclusive rights negotiations period done. So this is really a two-tiered story that I wanted to bring up to you, Dutch. So I was listening to Dave Meltzer for months.
Why?
Well, because I like to
Why
annoy
were you
myself.
listening to that horse-faced bastard?
I like to annoy myself sometimes. And there's increasingly over the weeks, he was getting more condescending and more smug about, those people who want AEW to fail. Nobody wants maybe the odd maniac out there, but nobody who matters in life wants AEW. We don't. It's great for everyone to be paid. And, there needs to be an alternative. Anyway, the point is, he's saying, well, we, and he does use the word we. The subject's pronoun we.
Which means more than one.
Mm-hmm. So he's saying me and AEW when he says we. He never says that with WWE, but he does say that with AEW on occasion. Listen to Wrestling Observer Radio. You will catch it in some of the old ones. He says, we will see who's right and who's wrong, in regards to what AEW will be getting from Warner Brothers Discovery, and, hey, maybe those detractors will be wrong. And maybe, actually, Tony Khan's got this fantastic deal that, will be announced any second now. That was months ago. Mm-hmm. Now that the exclusive negotiating period with WBD is done, and here's something else I found out today, is that Warner Brothers Discovery is apparently, they reported this on themselves, I believe, are worth $9 billion less than they thought they were. So WB, and they're also chasing the NBA as well. They're chasing the NBA package that have gone to Amazon Prime at the moment. So, I mean, WBD, they own like True TV,
so
they own Discovery,
they haven't signed that. I thought Amazon had that locked up, the NBA package.
They're suing. They probably do, but they're suing anyway because they have a right to match the offer that Amazon made them.
Mm-hmm.
So the point is that whatever numbers Tony Khan is feeding Dave Meltzer, they're obviously false numbers to a point, because this was months ago, and Meltzer seemed very confident that something was going to happen, and clearly nothing has happened. So now where does this leave them?
So you're saying that Dave Meltzer is being worked by Tony Khan?
I genuinely think so, yeah. I think so. He's been feeding him numbers. Oh, it's going to be great. Oh, it's going to be this. It's going to be that. Then Dave Meltzer's saying publicly these same things. And
what is the amount that AEW is getting from Warner Brothers? I guess. Is that who they're with?
That's a good question. I mean, I think I looked it up last. It's like $120 million a year. Ever since Collision came out, by the way. It's like $120 million a year. I mean, I did some calculations. They're probably losing about $20 million a year still. So they do need a bump in rights fees to make it worthwhile. But,
$120 million is not nothing.
Yeah, hey, maybe it's 100. I don't know. I can't remember the numbers off today. It doesn't matter. They're losing money still. They need a bump in. They need an increase to break even.
So let me ask you this. The NBA, they're not as popular now as they were 10 years ago.
Apart from the NFL, nothing is, though.
Wrestling.
WWE's bucking the trend, but if you're talking 10 years ago, then nowhere near. As far as TV ratings, but it's 10 years is 10 lifetimes in TV ratings these days.
Yeah, but see, with all the streaming and all this, I don't even know how they get that. How they figured this out. You need a PhD in mathematics just to figure any of it out. Because I don't get it. I don't understand it. And even when they start talking about the percentages of 0.12 or whatever, I don't even know how they get that low. I'm completely baffled by it, and I make no secret of it. I don't understand it. I don't think anybody else does either.
No, it can be a bit random, I understand. Now, that's not to say that WBD can't offer something else. It doesn't matter that, like FX might offer something that's worth AEW to move. We don't know. We'll see. That was just more a point that, Dave Meltzer pretty much exclusively seems to be having an inside line with Tony Khan and sort of talking the AEW party line.
But doesn't he deny that?
Yeah, of course he does.
Wasn't he on the payroll at one time, or is that misinformation?
That's a rumor, but you know what? The more and more I hear it, the less I'm inclined to not believe it, because he keeps using the word we. It's like we when talking about AEW. It's like we are doing this, yeah.
So he's tipping his hand.
It could be. I don't know.
You should get him in a poker game.
I'm playing poker tomorrow as well. I'm inviting him round. Okay, there's another thing as well. Tony Khan gave another interview with whoever and said the following: right now, it's the most important time ever in AEW. We're on the verge of the most important deal we'll ever make, this upcoming media rights deal, which is fine and well and good. But then he says this: over 5 years, it's really been building to this point where AEW is going to jump into the media rights and be a very profitable, successful company that has lived up to every expectation we could ever have had, because we've done so many amazing things. But, okay, here's a bit. We've done pay-per-view numbers, whether adjusted or straight up, however you want to look at it, head-to-head, very strong compared to the last few years of WCW. And I think that's really a success story.
That's 20 years ago.
There's more.
Huh?
They closed in 2001. It was 20... Yeah, okay, it's 20-odd years ago, right? And he's comparing himself to the last few years of WCW. So if he's comparing himself to last year, then WCW was averaging about 60,000 buys per show for pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that WCW suffered the biggest crash of any major wrestling promotion in the history of the business. So he's comparing himself to that. But also he uses the word few, which means 3 or more, maybe. Mm-hmm. So therefore, if you compare to 1998 WCW, which is still within the remit, then no, AEW was doing far less pay-per-view buys than WCW were, less than half. And WCW had more in a year as well. I love going through all these like quotes and numbers and just sort of just like breaking them down and just saying, that's bullshit, dude. It's all lying.
Now, would you tell him bullshit to his face?
Yes, I don't think he could physically do it.
We need to bring him on this show and you say, Tony, the bullshit stops here. Now, I want the truth straight up from you, or if you don't give me the truth, when you come to London for that big show,
I could do.
I'm going to meet you outside the gates and I'm going to beat the crap out of you.
He would be in fear for his life. He would not turn up, you know that. He says one more quote as well. It's a really interesting business point that our business on pay-per-view has continued to get stronger. No, it hasn't. The numbers are trending downwards. The only way it's got stronger is because they've put out more pay-per-views in a single year. So, but ultimately, like per show, it's trending downwards. So, I don't know why he feels the need to lie so much about this. I mean, WWE.
He's in the wrestling business.
I know. He's got one thing right: just lie about stuff.
Now, do you like Tony?
I honestly don't care about him one way or the other.
But you've never met him?
No.
But you can tell right now that if you did meet him, you probably wouldn't like him.
I'd probably be frustrated by him because Have you ever heard an interview with him?
No, I've met him and talked to him. Very pleasant guy. Very, he's very... friendly, and he's talking, and he does love wrestling. I will say that.
Okay, I'll say this then. It's not Tony, because every CEO, every businessman, they always spin the numbers to make it more beneficial to them. Here's the problem, is that no one who ever interviews Tony ever challenges him on anything he says, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, but I've heard that if you do challenge him a little bit, he will go and give you the same answer, but word it differently. And I've heard in one conversation, he will answer the question 4 times, but and with different words and a different attack on it. But he's basically saying the same thing that he said the first time.
Yeah, it's all the business doublespeak. I mean, Triple H is no good at this either, by the way. With all these press conference scrums and stuff, he comes out with some terrible answers. So, we're not trying to play favourites with this, but with Tony, it's so frustrating when it's like, dude, just say one thing honestly. And it's always spin. It's like, yeah, pay-per-view numbers are down. Yeah, but it's like, oh, the ratings are fantastic. Rampage and Collision, and they're trying to blame the Olympics for this, which it can't be, because I don't know when the Olympics are even broadcast in the States. I thought it was already over by 10 p.m., but maybe there's replays, I don't know. But like, they're both under 200,000 views, 200,000 viewership. It's like, goddamn, I've done loads of YouTube videos that have done better than that.
So what's under 200,000 views?
Rampage and Collision last week.
Oh yeah, I saw that. So I don't think that's the Olympics. I don't think. No. What else was on? Nothing?
Well, on Saturday with Collision, SummerSlam was later.
McDonald's was open late.
The sun was out.
Yeah, and the street lights came on, and that had a negative effect on it.
Yeah. But it's constant spin, and it's just especially
TNA did better than this group.
TNA always got like 1.1 million, didn't they? Or like a 1.1 rating and 1.5 million every week.
Yeah, but see, that was like 1.5 million. One rating was like 1.5 million in those days. So, but it's a different format. It's the landscape has changed from 20 years ago and now.